right, welcome back to the Middle Easy Fight Fist podcast. I am Dan LaMorte, joined by my co-host Luke Touma.
What's up, everybody?
And we welcome UFC fighter Aljamain Sterling. What's up, man?
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
Man?
Thanks for coming on.
We're here at
we're at your gym.
at the gym out in
Low MMA.
Garden City, Low MMA in Long Island. It's a great gym. Chris
Are you
Weidman
from here?
I'm from Uniondale, which is like a town not too far from Garden City, where the gym is located.
I almost went to college in Garden City, Adelphi.
Okay, yeah, I know the school.
I used to play ball, and I didn't go there because they brought me in to pitch against their team when I was in high school, and I struck out like their big juice head on their team, and he threw his bat at me. So I was like, I'm gonna avoid this kid for good. He was so mad. I threw him 3 changeups in a row, and he freaked the hell out.
You you're from around here. You used to wrestle at Cortland, right?
Wrestled upstate New York, SUNY Cortland. Yep.
Yeah. I'm
Roll Red.
I'm from Buffalo, so I had like a ton of friends that went to Cortland.
Nice. It's a good time for parties, you know.
Yeah, man. Cortica.
Some shenanigans, you
The
know.
whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that big weekend with Ithaca would come up.
Yeah.
You guys would go down there and it'd be like everybody drinking and stuff.
It gets wild.
Yeah.
There's some. I have some pretty interesting stories.
Yeah.
Some good times. Good times.
Yeah. And you want to share? You can save that for the book.
Yeah, we saved that for
Yeah,
another day.
another day. Maybe stories Dana White doesn't want to hear. Did you do all 4 years there?
I did 4 years there. I was on the 4.5-year program.
Yeah.
Nice.
Including the 1 year that I did at Morrisville. I transferred over, changed majors, and yep.
Is that where Jones went?
Yeah, that's where I actually met him. He was there for about a semester, and he did his own thing and dropped out and all
So
that.
what are you,
stuff.
28? 26?
28. He's a little older. I think he's 30.
Yeah, so were you guys close then?
We were cool.
You
He
stay
helped
in
me out on
touch?
the mat from time to time, and
Yeah.
whenever he was in the room. I guess he saw a lot of similarities in our like body types for our weight classes and stuff like that. So
Yeah, sure.
And I was pretty green. I was like a green wrestler in terms of like skill set.
Yeah.
But 'cause I started wrestling in 10th grade, so I picked it up
Oh, no shit, so late.
pretty fast. But I still had like a lot to learn. About
Did you
the
play
sport.
other sports before you wrestled?
Football? I played volleyball, ran track. I did basketball. I did just about everything.
Yeah.
I like how you threw volleyball in there, too. That
Volleyball, man.
Yeah.
I love bump set spike.
Really. I like playing when I'm drunk, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, volleyball's a good.
When it
Beach
gets competitive,
volleyball.
I don't move fast enough. Even when I was skinny, I was skinny, believe it or not. I couldn't move fast. I don't get volley. It's fun, though.
When you started wrestling, was it all wrestling, or did you still play other sports?
I played a lot of pickup basketball after school, but for the most part, I wrestled a lot during the off season. I lived in the weight room 3 days a week, and I made sure I was gonna like give everything to wrestling because that was like my opportunity to get to college and like pay for school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoping to go D1. I was the #1 seed in the county. Came up short, took second, and my plans were to win the county tournament, win the state tournament. And the guy that beat me, I beat him the week before. I beat him earlier that season. And he made it to the semis of states that year. I was so pissed. I was like, oh, my God. If I just got out of the county, I had a good opportunity. I had a pretty great chance of winning the
states,
entire state
Did he
tournament.
end up
and really
going
getting some
D1?
college looks. He went D1,
Does he fight?
and he won the states the very next year. And he was All-American
Damn.
for Hofstra.
shit.
Yeah.
Did he ever do MMA?
No, he doesn't. He's not about the face punch and stuff. We're still like good friends. Whenever I see him, whenever he's
Yeah.
around. So
Do a lot. I mean, a lot of wrestlers do transition. Like, when did it click to you that you would make the transition? Like, when did you start AMI fights?
well, it piqued my interest when I was in Cortland. When I transferred over, I saw some pictures on MySpace of Jon Jones training like jiu-jitsu stuff, submitting guys, getting like his hand raised
Wow.
and the whole medals and all that. And I'm like, yo, that looks fun. I've seen it on TV before, but I never thought like,
Yeah.
this is something you could like
So
legit just
sometimes
get
you
into.
just see something and it clicks in the head.
Yeah, and I just jumped in. I hit him up, sent him a message. I was like, you're not gonna fucking come. You're not gonna come to practice. I was like, you wanna bet? Like, don't try me. Like, I'm serious about this. I'm serious about it. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it.
That's a good way for him to get you into it. To be like, you're not gonna do it. Like,
'Cause,
question
well,
your manhood or whatever.
Yeah, well, you get a lot of people who will say like they'll come out to come train with you, or they'll come out and come try, practice, and
Yeah.
you never hear from them again. So
Yeah.
I guess he thought I was one of those kind of guys. I was
Yeah.
like, bro, I'm about this life. I don't think you know how I grew up. Like, this is something I know I can do. Let me let me try it out.
I was that guy when it came to fight. I was like, let me come to your gym fight. I'll be there. And then I went there and I was like, yeah, I'll see you guys never again. This is good for me. I'll stick to jokes.
So when you started training with him, like when he told you to come to the gym, was it like a jiu-jitsu gym or was he doing striking, boxing? What was he doing?
It was an MMA gym. It was in the barnyard of this guy's house. My first coach, Ryan Ciatoli, he was a cool dude. You know, he showed us what he did know, but to be honest, it wasn't very much. He fought himself, but he didn't know much in terms of like
coaching,
jiu-jitsu, and he ran pretty hard practices, but nothing really where you're like learning technique. And that was where I think even John was kind of like, I think I got to move on if I really want to grow. You know, we're stuck in a barnyard with just a bunch of tough wrestlers.
Like an actual barnyard.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's not really a barnyard, but next door is a barnyard pretty much.
Because I was
like
picturing
cows.
what was that movie with Will Ferrell and Napoleon Dynamite where they skate in a little barnyard?
Blades of Glory.
Yeah, I was picturing that.
Blades of Glory.
Except you guys fighting, or maybe you picking John up ice skating. Who knows?
Were all you guys in there wrestlers?
Yeah, for the most part. Me, Donnie Carlo Claus, he was from upstate New York. He was a state champ when it was one division. Jon Jones, John Franchi wrestled for SUNY Cortland. Pat Aldenwood, he was a wrestler also in high school. Anthony Leone, he wrestled in high school. He was from Long Island. Kenny Foster was from Georgia. He was a wrestler, wrestled D2. And all these guys were like 6-0, 7-0 to start their careers. And a lot of guys' careers, you know, when you get to that point where you're starting to fight the top level guys, Leone was like 6 or 7-0. Foster was like 7-1 or 7-0, something like that. And then, you know, you hit that peak where you kind of need that extra level of coaching to really like grow and do your thing, you know?
Do you think all you guys had such a hot start because of the way that first guy coached you in that barn or whatever? Like, do you think that was a good start for all you guys? Cause
for sure. You got a lot of hard-nosed wrestlers that know nothing but hard work and just the grind, put your head down and just... We were doing like 3 days, man. You know, summertimes I would stay there for like a month and then go home. And I was just banging out amateur fights like 2-3 in a row, and then going home and hanging out, and then coming back. You know, that kind of thing. So I was like really like into the training.
So when you got into the amateurs, did you go into Jersey though? Because I know Jersey has Ring of Combat, but that's professional Ring of Combat, right?
Yeah, but they have some amateur Ring of Combat. I don't know if they had it back then, but I know they do now. Because Jersey has to do like all amateur, or they have to do all pro cards.
Yeah. So how old were you when you jumped from amateur to pro?
I think I was 21. It was 21. 2011. I went pro right at like literally 1 month after the wrestling season was over, April. And I think it was April 22nd, 2011.
I always ask anyone in any field, support a family about it, the decision they were cool with?
I didn't really tell anybody.
Really?
You know, from what I remember, I don't remember really talking to anybody about it besides like on Facebook. But in terms of like my family, like they never really came out to like my wrestling matches and stuff.
Okay.
So.
But when you were training in that place with Jones and all those guys, all those wrestlers, you didn't tell your family that that's what you were doing, that you were training in an MMA gym?
No, you know, I told I did like drop it, like, you know, I got a fight coming up, and, you know, they didn't really like, they probably thought I was probably talking about wrestling. They probably everyone does that. Like, oh, so you like wrestling and stuff. I'm like, no, like we actually punch each other in the face and try to separate each other from our consciousness. Like, that's what we do. But
was there a time when your family started to realize like, oh shit, this is what he's doing, this is his job, and what he's gonna do with his life? Yeah,
I think when I first got to the UFC and it started to really blow up, we started doing like the Newsday articles, and I showed my mom some stuff, and I think she started to realize like, oh, this is like some serious stuff that you're doing. You're not actually using your college degree. You're doing like other crazy stuff. But, like, she was like, just protect your body and just make sure you don't get too hurt. And even now, I don't think she doesn't actually watch my fights. I do show her them like later on, but she'll always like close her eyes or turn her head, and she's not really watching. She's watching, but not
classic moms.
Yeah.
But what was your degree in?
Physical education.
Oh, cool.
So right now I coach high school kids. Baldwin High School. I was coaching at Unidale, my alma mater, and now I'm coaching like right down the road.
So that's what outside of fighting you coach. That's the other job.
Yeah, wrestling gave a lot to me. Helped build me up. I think it really helped shape my mindset and my work ethic for sure. Yeah. And
also, high school's a great age to teach, I think. Although it's different because like when I would teach baseball to kids. High school kids are the best because they already knew their shit. But like, you could be a guy like you who starts in 10th grade, so you could actually like shape someone's career, which got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting to grow along with their careers, even if it's short lived. Like we had one kid who was a senior, made it to the county tournament, sick blast double, but he's so green, so raw.
Yeah.
He tried out every single year, but was academically ineligible. Couldn't come out for the team until this year finally, and he had a great run. Kept losing to the same guy. He lost to him in the finals at the qualifiers, but compared to most of the other guys, for him, what he accomplished in 1 year was pretty impressive. So
Do
I don't know.
people come
I
out
like to see
here
him stick
for
with it.
wrestling matches in high school? Like, do people come and support? Like,
High
is it a
school?
popular sport? Because I know Long Island is all big lacrosse. Because I have family out here who all play lacrosse.
Yeah, not so much. Definitely not so much.
Yeah, by
I
me in
wish it was
Jersey, it
more.
wasn't big either.
Basketball was a lot bigger.
We had two kids. We had Bam Bam Bigelow's son was a wrestler in my high school. So like everyone would go to watch him.
Deuce Bigelow, Mel Gigolo.
Yeah. No, what was Bam Bigelow? The wrestler had the stripes on his head,
I think so.
and then we had a blind wrestler, which was always cool to watch.
I've seen that before in
Yeah.
college.
It's
It's a very
because they
interesting.
get to start with the hands on. you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting concept the way they work everything out. It's cool, but it's like
This kid was
different.
actually a monster. He was like
That
a
would
really
freak
good
me
wrestler.
out. If I was wrestling against a blind dude, I'd be like, does he have superpowers? Like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
this shit?
And they're hitting shots, the proper mechanics and stuff like that. It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Like, man,
They're making a movie about him
stuff
now.
you can actually really do.
The blind wrestler.
The blind wrestler from St. John Vianney High School, New Jersey. Yeah, he's actually a musician now too. He's picked all things that you wouldn't
need your
expect
eyes
blind
for.
people to do.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
he plays the guitar and sings.
Defying all odds.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Do you still stay in touch with John Null? Like, because I think it's all crazy what's going on right now.
You
Anyone
know
who
what,
actually
man?
thinks I don't think he actually cycled, took steroids. No one takes steroids that soon to a fight.
Yeah, I don't know how all that stuff works, but his answers just didn't seem very responsible, I should say.
Oh, you watched the deposition?
I didn't watch it. I couldn't sit through that.
Oh,
There's
I
no
did.
way I was gonna. I watched some of the highlights, and I'm not gonna judge him off of highlights because that doesn't tell the whole story. But
The only thing I judged him off of was that he said Barry Bonds was a boxer. He deserved to get judged for that. That was a dumb thing.
but I saw him like kind of attack Misha Tate for her giving her a voice in her
Oh
opinion.
yeah, that's been a whole thing.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
him versus
dude,
Misha.
come on, bro. Like you're attacking you're attacking a female, and two, you're attacking her because she likes you, but because she's not saying the stuff that you want her to say. Like
Yeah.
at some point, she has a point. You have to
Yeah.
be
It's
held
not
accountable.
exactly like she's coming out of
Yeah.
left field with
Yeah,
it. It's
you know,
all
I don't think she
written
said
in-
anything
yeah.
out of term, anything out of line. I think John's a phenomenal athlete, but
Oh yeah,
he
for
does
sure.
stuff that he shouldn't. Stuff that one time, maybe two times, but like three.
Yeah.
Like, dude, come on. At some point, you these kids are looking up to you,
Yeah.
even though you didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
That's the position you're in. If
I
you want
mean,
to be
he
the
was
bad
in
guy,
the
be the
position
bad
to
guy.
be-
And
the
if
best.
you're fucking up that much, you can't get back. You can't clap back at someone just because they point out that you've been fucking up.
Yeah, like just be like, yo, I did it. It is what it is, and whatever. Not saying you did the steroids, but you did. You got caught for whatever it was, and you're in this stuff. You're gonna handle it, and you're just gonna deal with it. Life goes on.
I mean, I grew up with a lot of dudes that got in a lot of trouble, and maybe you did too. Do you think he's one of the? I mean, because he's had a ton of trouble over his career. Do you think maybe he just like, I don't know. I don't know. A lot of guys who get in trouble a lot, like they don't see it as their fault.
You can reverse. I mean, I got arrested for the first time when I was 14, then 16, then 17.
Yeah, and you never really look at it like you're the one in the wrong doing. You kind of like everybody's against me or they're misunderstanding.
100%.
Oh, no, I was
used to be that guy too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I
was always
never
like,
got
this is
arrested,
definitely
but
me.
I definitely used to be that guy in terms of never taking responsibility for things that happen to
Yeah.
you until I start realizing these things are only going to keep happening
Yeah.
to me. And that's pretty much it.
I think
And
the only time I accepted it was when I was caught selling weed. I was like, yeah, this one was me. It was me for sure.
Yeah, he had some knucklehead guys that I didn't really like that he hung out with back in
Yeah.
when we were upstate. He was living in Ithaca at the time, and he would come out to the bars and hang out. And whenever he was at the bars, if I was happening to just see him at the bar, it always cordial, super nice, super cool. We know each other, hang out, and John's being John, buying shots for everybody, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to be one of those guys who like, oh hey, John's here, I'm gonna like sit up your ass the whole time. I'm just
Yeah.
not one of those type of dudes.
No.
Yeah.
I got my own shit going for me, and
Yeah.
I just feel it's weird whenever guys are like that. Like, I like to think that I'm more of a genuine friend than that. But he had some like friends. I'm like, dude, you got some kind of like some scummy dudes that you hang out with. And they were kind of like pieces of shit, man. I told him, I was like, dude, I'm trying to have a conversation with you. This is a true story. The dude was like driving off mid-conversation while we're like planning something out. The dude was like driving off with mid-conversation. I was like, part of me wanted to take a fucking brick and like just throw it at the guy. Like, you fucking piece of shit. You don't fucking do that. You disrespectful.
God.
Like, I wanted to slap the guy.
That's
Yeah.
cray.
Yeah,
You're
and
like
then-
talking to him. They're in the car and he's
Yeah,
driving
but
away.
I'm having a full conversation, and this guy's like, just like pulling off, and I can tell he's like being like a wise ass about
Yeah.
it. And then John's like, "I'm sorry, man, it's my friend." I'm like, I'm like, these are the people you hang out with, bro.
Are
Like,
these
that's-
people? Are they in the fighting world?
No.
No.
But I really wanted that guy really wanted to slap the shit out of that guy.
Yeah.
He was a piece of shit. That
Yeah.
guy's a piece of shit.
That's what I was gonna ask. But my next question was gonna be: do you think? Because guys that have acted like this, and when they don't take responsibility, you think that's from having too many yes men around you and not having like good friends who are gonna be honest with you?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Everything seems like a good idea. I've got some stories with John, but I'm like, you know what, man? You know, it's certain things you just like, yo. I don't think we should do that. But I don't think we should, you know.
That's
But
because you're a good friend. And
Yeah,
you're not gonna be
you
the
know,
guy that's like,
that-
yeah, let's fucking do blow or whatever.
yeah, that's just how I am.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a guy. Everyone has their vices. I got my vices.
Yeah.
I eat tons of chocolate during training camp. I drink during training camp.
Yeah.
You know, I do things that people probably shouldn't do during training camp. And I don't always put it to light because people always want to be judgmental about stuff, you know, and they act like they're Mr. Perfect or Mrs. Perfect. I'm like, who are you to point a finger at me and what I like to do in my life in my spare time?
Yeah.
You know, if I got my shit together, I got my life together, who are you to judge me? You know?
Totally.
And that's why I don't knock them. I'm like, if you want to do a little a little snow candy, John, go ahead.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to make sure you're not getting behind the wheel. You're not wrapping your Bentley around a telephone pole, like
Yeah.
things like that. Just
Or a pregnant
Getting
woman,
some
for that
pregnant-
matter.
yeah, but that's my only issue with it. Outside
for
of that,
sure.
bro, have your fun, live your life, dude. You're only young once. You only live once. Go for it. That's not
Yeah.
something I'm gonna do. I can't do shit like that. That's,
Yeah.
One, I struggle enough just smoking weed. I smoke. I'm like, I gotta go to bed. I'm tired.
Oh, me too.
I'm not very fun.
I'm a
Besides
nighttime
drinking.
smoker.
I'm a riot though. We like to go hard.
up.
It's
Yeah.
different.
Do you go out and party a lot during training camp, or do you
No,
like use
see,
it back?
that I can't do because I train so hard that my body just crashes at night. Literally, like, at this point, I crash 11:30, 12 o'clock, and I'm just done. I can't. My friends want to hang out. I legit have to like have a one training session. I have to take a nap, and then I can hang out with, like, if they have like an event, like a music show or something.
Yeah.
But even if I go out, I'm not like getting bombed or anything like that. I'm just hanging out, just enjoying the scenery kind of
Yeah,
thing.
for sure.
But it's not very fun. I want to get wasted.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
After,
I gotta stay away from that.
If you win a fight, do you have like a week or two get wasted period?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, you need that
Like-
party period.
Like at the Sun South fight, you can see me. I'm in the club with crutches on. I got my crutches. I kicked the guy so many times, I damn near broke my own foot just kicking the shit out of the guy. And I'm in the club with crutches on. I'm unbuttoning my shirt. My shirt's pretty much off, and I'm just screaming like, "Yeah, it's a great time." That's
Yeah.
just how I am.
Because essentially that's you being off work, because a training camp is work.
Yeah.
So it's like you're on the clock. Now you're off the clock. Might as well fucking enjoy
Yeah,
it.
I'm on the clock for 8, 10
Also,
weeks.
what I've learned
You,
from Long Island is people could drink out here. It's a nice party place.
Oh, it's a great
Anytime
time.
I come out here, I think I could hang. And I'm like, you guys are pretty good too. You can
Do you,
match.
It's a great time.
Do you have a girlfriend?
Yeah, I do.
All right, I was gonna say because like it's like a baller move to like walk up in a club like no shirt on with some crutches. Like I just kick someone's ass. Like, I fuck this leg because I kicked some dude so many times.
I was like, I lost, but I did kick the shit out of him a ton. If that counts for anything, come hang out with me.
Does your girlfriend train at all?
Nah, she wants to start doing jiu-jitsu, but nothing yet. She does lift a lot, but
'Cause I've run into a few fighters who I'm friends with, and their girlfriends also train.
yeah.
But then also, what was I just? There's the one girl. She's in the UFC now. She's a young. What's her name? Angela.
Angela Hill.
Yeah. Didn't I heard the story that the way she got into fighting was her boyfriend wanted to fight and convinced her to come to the gym with him, and she was just so good.
Yeah.
That she that's got to be crazy to be that boyfriend. Like your girlfriend's now a UFC star,
Yeah.
and you didn't do shit with it.
I wonder if she's still with that guy.
No, definitely.
I would
not.
assume not.
She's
No
in
way.
California now. She's
For
from New
his
York.
sake.
Yeah.
For
So,
his sake,
I'm
I
gonna
would say
think-
no, because that's emasculating.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
gonna be kicking his ass now. Apparently, he wasn't that good.
'Cause it was his dream, and she was like, "I'll just have that one. You pick a new dream."
That's funny. That's pretty true.
Can you imagine like doing stand up and then your girlfriend starts doing stand up and she's like hilarious?
So much
right off
funnier
the
than
bat?
you.
God,
I would
that
jump off the
suck.
nearest bridge. I hate my career as it is. If she came in and had a better career than me, woo boy.
That would suck.
That's why I like dating girls who hate comedy, which is not hard to find at all. It is the most hateable thing.
Do you think like that wild persona is something a lot of guys just have naturally, and that's kind of what fuels them as fighters? Like just having that erratic behavior come naturally to you?
Yeah, I do think the majority of fighters have like something off. There's definitely, I think there's a few screws loose with a lot of these guys in the fight game. You gotta be a different type of person to want to get in there and do this full time as your job, and
with people watching.
Yeah. There's one thing to get into a fight. Anybody could get into a fight, but you gotta sack up and put in front of everybody, put your heart on the sleeve in front of everybody.
I would say even outside of people who want to be the center of attention, which we're no different, there's always something loose in that person's head who's like, I'm going to do what I want to do while everyone watches me do it.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thought to have,
it's
but at
nerve-wracking.
the same time, they're also some of the most interesting people.
Yeah.
Because like guys like that in your job and our job, we'll work harder than anyone else.
Yep.
Because we have that, because we want to be in that center of the ring,
Yeah.
Does the size of like the crowd and the venue and everything matter to the fight, or does that?
I
not have
always
anything to
wondered
do
that.
with it?
Like if you're on like the Fight Pass prelims, or if you're on like the main card, what is the difference of a vibe?
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
The crowd is enormous when it's the main card time, and compared to early prelims, Fight Pass prelims.
I've been at Fight Pass prelims and no one's. It's crazy how
Yeah.
small the crowds are.
Even if you like, Vegas is the worst. If you're fighting on a prelims in Vegas, it's the worst.
Why?
You're a curtain jerker because there's literally nobody in there. You can probably hear a rat piss on cotton in there. It's that
Even
quiet.
for some of the early fights on
it's-
the main card, the people in Vegas don't come out right away. They show up so late.
The ones I've been to, they usually pack out, like the Ronda Rousey card, the
Yeah.
Tyron Woodley card, main card. Everyone usually shows up on time for those ones, like the big ones. But yeah, I can see that happening for like the smaller ones in Vegas.
So you like it
There's
better
so
with
many
the big
things
crowd?
to do. I do. I like performing. I'm one of those guys. Like, I think the bigger the crowd, the more amped up I get, and the
That's
more I
dope.
feel like
Hell
I gotta deliver. I gotta
Yeah.
bring the goods.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, shit will get off the pot. That's how I look
you
at
also,
it.
You're like you have the nice little thought where you're like they might not be packed out, but there's thousands of people watching at home. Where I'm
Yeah.
like, there's 3 people here, and that's how many people are seeing me.
Yeah. But I've been that curtain jerker before, and I was like, you know what? I got to make these people give a shit. So that's kind of the way.
Have
I
you ever
looked at
fought
it.
on a UFC card in New York or not yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I'm trying. We're still working on that. Hopefully, it's like a weird thing. They got like this thing against me right now, like health wise. So I'm still hoping to get
The
that.
UFC or the state of New York?
The state of New York. It's just in their rule book. They haven't overturned anything yet, so we're still waiting for them to make that little like altercation for that, or whatever you call it, altering that that little what would you even call that requirement, criteria, whatever, so that I can finally fight in home.
Yeah.
But
So
It's because of an injury you had?
not an injury, it's more so something I was born with. So yeah, so it's I've been able to fight everywhere else. It's kind of weird. I can fight
That is
anywhere
weird.
else. It's such a crazy thing.
It's par for the course that New York is the strictest place to
They-
fight.
They are, and they're behind the times with literally everything.
Yeah.
Everything, rules, everything,
They've
laws.
picked up the new MMA rules, though, right? That were put in place recently.
Yeah. Courtesy of Gregor Musasi Weidman.
Yeah, so many. Yeah.
Fucked up.
They also added, I forgot, that you can't put fingers in an open wound anymore, which used to be one of my favorite things to watch in the Pride days.
I don't think you couldn't have done that for a while now.
Oh,
though.
really? I
Yeah.
used to love seeing that. I remember watching Pride where like a dude would get his
Oh, that's
cheek
fucked
cut
up.
open, then whoop, thumb right in there. That's like really adding insult to injury.
Oh no, that's
Like I cut
That's
you open
nasty.
and I put
That's
my
like-
thumb in
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
painful.
Some of that pride shit was crazy.
That's like back to the OG
Yeah.
MMA days where
That's
guys
like
could
we're in
wear
the
shoes
streets.
if they wanted to.
Yeah.
that's street shit.
Yeah.
So next up is Atlantic City, which should be fun. I mean, Atlantic City comes out. Where?
Yeah.
What casino is that? Is it Borgata?
It's not at the casino. It's at
Convention?
Boardwalk Hall.
Yeah, Boardwalk Hall.
But I looked at the layout for the seats. It's kind of set up like a concert, which is very weird.
Yeah, it's like it's almost long, kind of, instead of like a dome, kind of.
Yeah, which I don't know if I really like. I don't think I
They-
like it
they-
at all.
they
Actually,
might have
You really
seats
think,
that come
You really
out.
think about the crowd and the seating and stuff like that.
not the seating, but I saw that I was like, yo, this is awkward. Like,
Yeah.
there's gonna be like
Yeah.
nobody behind us on one side.
Well, they might have
But
those
everybody-
seats that they roll in
Yeah.
because they've been doing boxing there for ages.
Yeah,
That's
I
like a-
hope so because the way
'Cause
they.
I
the way they set
remember
up
back
looks
when
awkward.
Fight Night came out, the Xbox game. One of the top venues was the Boardwalk Hall.
Oh, yeah?
They've been doing fights there forever.
Good.
Yeah, that, and
Or
that's
that's where they have New Jersey State. So
oh, so
for the wrestlers,
yeah,
yeah. So it should be a big venue.
and that's against Brett Johns.
Brett Johns, the Wales fighter, Welch. He's a dragon flyer. I'm gonna have to slay a dragon. I'm looking to slay a
I can't even
dragon.
tell
on the
you where
21st.
Wales is. No idea.
It's
So,
in the UK.
yeah.
Here, England.
It's like right at the
That's what I would have guessed.
bottom or something.
Welch, is that where the juice comes from?
yeah, I guess so.
That's a good
A
juice.
lot of grapes.
So what? How's the fight camp been leading up to the fight? How do you approach a guy? He's undefeated, I think, but you've also fought more in the UFC. What do you got?
I fought
9
more.
fights now.
I think I fought tougher guys. I mean, Joe Soto, I don't know if Joe Soto is the Joe Soto that fought TJ Dillashaw. I think after that fight, his career kind of was a little up and down. I think that knockout really kind of put a shift on his just the longevity of his career.
You also fought Barao.
I fought
Beat
Barao. I would say he was closer to the downside of his career, or he was just
Yeah.
off the juice. Either or, I take either one.
That was
And
a big fight, though. I mean, because I think you won your first 3, right, or 4?
I won my first 4 fights.
Then you lost 2.
2 split decisions in a row.
Yeah.
Caraway, Rafael Sunsao, and then I fought Augusto Mendez, and then Henry Brown and beat those 2 guys.
What when you
And then the last one was just shit luck.
yeah.
So-
that was.
So now, is your approach to this camp any different because you just had your first stoppage in the UFC? Because you hadn't ever been stopped, and then the
Nah.
other 2 were splits. You've been pretty.
Yeah. No difference. I think the only difference is just going back to taking my time. I think I've gotten so used to having a lot, like even in the beginning of my career, my fights were a lot slower.
Okay.
Like slow pace, like I slow fights down. Like these guys come guns blazing. They know I just come to wrestle.
Yeah.
And they know I'm just going to kick. So they're like, let me just block a few kicks, run in there and just try to throw haymakers at them and see if I can take them out.
Yeah.
And I was just taking all these guys down. And I was getting criticized a lot. Oh, he has no stand-up. He can't box for shit. So I started letting that get in my ear a little bit. And then I started trying to play more to the stand-up thing. And then I dropped a split decision to a sunset. I didn't use any of my wrestling.
Yeah.
How's a good fight?
Yeah, I thought it was a competitive fight. I thought in the stand-up I had an edge, but that's in hindsight, whatever.
I mean, you. One of the judges had a 30-26, if I recall. So I mean, you won big time on that, right?
Not for that one. 30-26, well, that was the Barao fight.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Augusto Mendez, and then the Barao fight, I opened up with the hands a lot more like I do in training, and I was just like, fuck it, let's just go, And I just just bit down my mouthpiece. And I was just like, yo, I'm just going to let him fly and just see what happens, And
that was coming off the 2 losses.
Coming off the 2 losses, and I won those 2 back-to-back.
So what is, like, my thing is, like, so your professional career, you hadn't lost up until those 2 in the UFC, right?
Yeah.
So how do you, mentally, like, is there anything different? Like, do you take extra time off, or?
For what? For
Like,
being my first stoppage?
No, I'm not. I'm the first 2 losses. Like, does it fuck with you at all since you had never lost professionally?
You know what, man? I kept it in
Or did you
perspective.
just understand it could happen? Yeah.
Yeah, I kept it in perspective. I was like, the fights could have honestly gone either way. I did think in the heat of the moment, like, I thought I edged it out, and even watching it back, like the Sunset fight, I thought I edged it out. The Caraway fight, I thought should have been a draw. I thought the first round was a 10-8.
Yeah.
I tortured that guy. I had that guy dangling his arms in a full Nelson for damn near about a minute and change, So I'm like,
I do remember that.
I took him down, beat him up on the ground and pound, had him threaten the rear naked choke, didn't get it, had him in a full Nelson, had him saying uncle, So I'm like, it is what it is. Like, I got to keep it in perspective. Like, I gassed out. I did 3 workouts the day of that fight, which is something I've never done before. It's because I was trying to be overly prepared, and that was a lack of experience. And, I was starting to doubt if I was prepared enough, and I was trying to make sure I was ready to go, making sure I had the cardio to go, and I just shot my tank all in that first round.
Yeah.
And then learning lesson. The Sunset fight. Fuck the critics. Go out there and fight your fight and do what you do. Learning lesson. Augusto Mendez, I put it all together, and then the Brow fight, I think I put it together even better.
For sure.
And I had 2 exciting fights, and then when I got a taste of that submission against Marlon Moraes, I felt like, dude, I'm gonna submit this guy in the first round.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got up off the ground, I was thinking to charge at the guy, and the ref jumps in and he stops us. I didn't know why he did that, and it kind of like put a pause and a break in the action.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of changed the tempo of the fight. And then as soon as he does that and he moves out of the way, I go to just shoot. No setup, nothing. And he goes for a switch kick.
And you caught it,
I catch the switch kick, but I catch the knee, flush on the chin. Literally right on the button. And I see it. And as I'm seeing this, I see it in slow motion, and I say to myself, you just fucked up. It was so bad. So bad.
That's
but
the
I
worst.
remember it. Clear as day, I'm like, I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I just did that. And Yeah, then I woke up in the hospital. That's when I woke up, but I came to in the hospital where I was like not delirious anymore, not asking what happened.
It was like a
what
legit
happened.
days.
Do you remember anything post getting knocked out in the ring, or is that
Nah,
all gone from your memory?
All gone.
Damn. So you just
I
remember
just
waking
seen
up
the
in the hospital.
videos. I seen me giving like the thumbs up to everybody, like I guess the crowd. I guess I was like on autopilot.
Yeah.
But I remember waking up and coming to and talking to my brother. I'm like, bro, I remember everything that happened besides after the knee. That's when everything was just gone.
Yeah, and that's wild because that was a knockout that went pretty viral.
Yeah. It sucked. I was like, of all the ways for me to lose, I lost like that. Like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd take an ass whooping, but to lose, because I made such a rush decision.
Yeah.
And that's to let you know how fast, in a blink of an eye, the fight can just be over like
Because
that.
he wasn't even going for the knee.
Yeah.
So it's and so many people are like, it was easy to pick up if you knew fighting right away that he went for the switch kick.
Yeah, you can
And
see
that-
because he looks down and he's throwing the leg and then the knee lands. I'm like, if you're not smart enough to see that was a switch kick, then you don't belong to be watching the sport.
So
'cause
you
have
felt
no
his
idea what's
round
going on.
game was a little weak.
Oh yeah, once I locked, he tried to rush me. He clipped me behind the ear, knocked out my equilibrium with that short lunging left hook, and I saw him. He was he was overextending.
Looks like a giant baby.
Yeah,
Doesn't he? He looks very scary.
Jack though. He's Jack though.
So do you think Jimmy beats him?
I don't know. They're both little short Jack midgets, but
Yeah, they are.
I mean, I'm not much taller, but they look like Jack midgets. I'm at least skinny and lanky, so it looks a little different. My body type.
Jimmy
but-
was our first guest, so we're gonna go Jimmy over Marlon.
Yeah.
And I told Jimmy the same thing. It's simply because I don't like the guy's voice. I fucking hate it. I don't understand how a man has that voice.
I had to hear that. I had to listen to that voice every time I watched the replay. Imagine how I felt. I lost to this guy.
You gotta rewatch yourself take that knee
And then hear his voice. Oh my God, big God, I feel bad. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I lost to this guy. I wanted it back so fast, so
the
bad.
Caraway fight, you learned not to, blow your
Shitty
tank
voice.
before before the fight.
Yeah.
The a Sun Tao fight, you learned not.
It's an
to fuck
MMA
the
fight.
critics.
Mix it up. Fuck the critics.
Yeah. So
Fight
what
your
did
fight.
you learn from taking that knee from Marlon?
I learned I gotta not even go back to it. I just can't rush. I can't rush the finish by skipping all the steps. I gotta let it come. I gotta let it materialize. Like to just try to get from point A to Z without getting through those other steps. Was my demise. And I realized that. I'm like, I got like a little piece of candy was dangling in front of me, and I tried to grab it, and I just got caught in a bear trap.
Do you think it was just like a thing you hadn't learned yet because you hadn't been stopped like that, or do you think you were like emotionally invested and that's why you jumped in like that?
I was super emotionally invested. I've learned from guys being knocked out by them like rushing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just in training and in other past fights and just seeing stuff. I like to learn from people's mistakes, and I never thought I would be that guy to make that type of mistake. And it goes to show you never know what can happen in the heat of the moment, and that's pretty much what
now
happened.
on the flip side,
That heat
Brett
of the
is
moment.
getting the most mature Aljamain. So you're probably going into this fight the most experienced, right? Because
Yeah.
you dealt with the stoppage. Now there's nothing that could happen that you aren't used to.
I'm gonna take my time, and I'm gonna put some fists in this guy's face, and then
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really see what he does to win. He's not gonna catch that calf slice on me. Was he gonna
He
go
did
for
win on that calf slice.
yeah. And Joe relaxed. Joe's a good leg lock fighter.
Yeah.
Joe relaxed in that position because he's so comfortable with guys attacking his legs. I roll with Joe. Joe submitted me probably 5 times with leg lock, probably 5, maybe even more than 5 times. This is before the whole leg lock evolution in BJJ. And I'm not afraid, I'm not ashamed to say that. This was like 4 years ago when I made my UFC debut. I went out there to train in April after I fought Cody Gibson.
Yeah.
I went out there to go train with Cody, and we just so happened to go to Soto's gym because he trains with them
So
sometimes.
you trained with Cody after you beat him?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
That was your first fight, right?
I hit him up, and we connected, and I went out there.
That's what I love about fighting is that the
That's so
connection that
interesting,
fighters have.
Yeah. And then, bro, I was like, man, my leg lock game is trash. I thought I was a very good jiu-jitsu player, like on top. But Joe showed me, like, dude, there's levels to this grappling stuff. And I was like, yo, if I ever had to fight this guy, my legs are going to be mangled. But and that's just being honest. So when he fought him, my leg lock game has evolved tremendously from that. We got Jason Rao over with the Danaher, the Def Squad. And, so I go over there and cross-train a little bit and get some working with those guys. So unless this guy's going to try to go for a flying Imanari leg scissor sweep, Anderson Silva, that one miracle leg lock he got caught in, the inverted heel hook. And I can't really see, like, he shoots double legs all on the same side. I don't expect to fight the same Brett, but you know,
You're studying him.
I'm
And
studying
so-
him.
So you think he shoots double legs all on the same side?
All on the same side, the same lead leg side. He shoots them all. So it'd be interesting to see if he finally decides to switch things up. But
Yeah.
you know, I expect him to be evolved. But I think if he comes with that same game plan, I think my skill set is just a little bit more evolved than his at this point in our careers.
So you study heavy on like fighters' past fights and their tape before you're fighting them, right?
For the fight, I watched some of their training footage to see how they look when they're hitting pads. See if I could pick up anything in terms of like the confidence level,
Yeah.
because it's really a mental game. We all know the same thing: 1-2 hook, 1-2 uppercut, level change, head kick. It's all the
Yeah.
same stuff. You
So
know,
the
it's
mental
just
game is very big.
very big. It's who puts it together better. And I think I'm gonna go out there, and I think I have more variety in my skill set. Grappling, I think his first 2 fights, even his fights before that, he didn't really show much. He takes guys down. He has very good top control. I saw him in one of his videos trying to work his ground and pound where he's taking guys down, trying to posture up right away. I'm like, if you posture up right away, if you do get me down, I'm getting right up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you start throwing strikes, you're giving up the opening for you to get taken down. So this fight can go multiple ways, but either way, he's in for a dogfight.
Yeah.
So how
great.
invested does your team? Because we were obviously at Weidman's gym. Does he get super invested in the fight for you as well? Like in the training aspect?
Who's that?
Chris.
Yeah, we're you know what, we're all pretty close. You know,
Because I saw when
Chris-
you guys were hanging out there, it seems like a good, like everyone is very cool with each other.
yeah.
It seems like a good family vibe almost.
Chris, myself, and Volante, we played basketball for the charity event last night at the Coliseum. And
Lante fights out here too,
well, he cross trains with Chris a lot. He's like his main training partner. He's like his best friend.
and Al fights out here too.
Al
right?
fights out of here. I live with Al.
Really?
So yes, I'm cornering Al for this fight. I think Al's gonna be cornering me for
Then
this
we're gonna
fight.
See you Sunday. 'Cause
Yeah,
we're
we're-
going to the
yeah.
house to
Yeah.
do a podcast with
We're
him.
interviewing Al
Oh,
on
sick,
Sunday.
sick.
I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
why we just didn't put the two together. It would have been so much easier.
Yeah, so he's gonna be cornering me. This is gonna be the second time Al's cornering me for a fight, and the last time he cornered me was against Hugo Vienna in Jersey. So I'm not saying there's good luck charms in the air, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
good luck charms in
Are
the
you
air.
also going to become a real estate agent?
I'm actually studying to get my license right now.
No,
you
I'm,
serious?
I'm almost done with my course, and
Did
then I
he
got to take the
convince-
actual test.
Did he convince you to do it?
No, he was doing it, and I was like, I don't have the time to do it. And then I thought I was just flipping. I just wanted to flip.
Yeah.
And that got it's so tough right now because it's a seller's market. To get homes, you got to really be like,
Also,
doing
Garden
the
City is
footwork.
expensive as shit.
yeah. Well, I did my first one in Arizona, and I learned a couple things doing that. A couple things went wrong,
Yeah.
but I learned a lot from that. So I know the next one is gonna be a lot better. But if you're not doing the footwork to get like properties, because the property taxes are so high,
Yeah.
if you're not doing the footwork to get like these houses at a like 70 cents on the dollar, 65 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
If you're not getting homes at that price, man, it's so tough in New York.
Dude, I got my parents' guest room at such a good price. it's nice.
Yeah.
I
so,
can flip that for any profit.
yeah,
'cause I
seriously.
paid
though.
$0.
So do you think a lot about other businesses besides fighting? Not to have as your main career, but just as a secondary source of income.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think I'm gonna be fighting very long, to be honest.
Really?
I think I'm probably. I already gave myself a timetable. 32. I'm hoping to accomplish everything I want to
And you're
accomplish
how
by
old right now?
32. I'm 28. I'm 29 at the end of July.
So 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah, so
That'll
I
be
just
11
shit,
years
get
of
off the pot.
fighting professionally.
Yeah,
It's a good
so-
run.
What
I think the longevity of putting your body through the wear and tear when these there's some young exciting fighters that are coming up. You got that Sean O'Malley kid.
Sean O'Malley.
They got that other kid who made his debut
Talk
who's
about
9
fighting
and
with
0.
confidence, man.
Yeah, who's that kid 9 and 0? He submitted Albert Morales, and Albert's had some tough fights. He fought Brett
Oh,
Johns,
yeah.
and he fought Brett Johns to a
Was
decision.
he on the last card? The guy you're talking about?
Yeah. I think so. I forget his name, but he's a Hispanic looking dude, maybe a Mexican, but he's a good jiu-jitsu guy. Not
Yeah.
much stand up on the feet, but you got some young studs, undefeated guys
and you
coming
can tell
up.
the UFC, they have this thing of pushing the guys they want to push.
Yes,
Like any industry.
100%.
And Sean is already there.
Yeah.
Yes.
They've already decided that he's going to be their guy. Well,
O'Malley's-
no, he did give that great interview after last fight when he was on the ground.
Yeah, that was
Fucking
pretty
love you,
fun.
Joe Rogan.
He's a cool kid. He's a little hippie. He's funny. But yeah, man, he's got the swag, he's got the confidence, and he brings it, man. He performs.
For sure.
But his ground game is very suspect. And then you got the other guy whose stand-up game is very suspect. But they're young. They're
Yeah.
gonna grow. They're gonna keep evolving. And I was that young guy who come in pretty much one-dimensional. But if I got on your back, I threw the backpack on you, and I'm choking your ass
Also,
out.
the thing
You know.
is, if the UFC wants these guys to keep winning and keep progressing, they have to allow them to progress at the right rate.
Yeah.
Even though they could see them as a star in the making, they can't just throw them in with the Wolves right away. I mean, you can, but like you saw
They
what
did that
happened
to Sage
they did
Northcutt.
that- I was just about to say they did it
Yeah.
to Sage. Then fucking Yair, kind of. They threw him with Frankie, and he got
I don't,
his ass
I don't
whooped.
honestly, I don't know what they were thinking by giving Yair to Frankie. I
What,
don't know
dude?
what they were thinking.
Well, if you go on the woman's side, I mean, fucking what's her name?
Paige.
They,
Paige got her
they
ass
threw
kicked
her
too.
in
Paige
right
Van
away
Zandt.
so quickly.
I think is Yair with Team Alpha Male
I
now?
don't think so. Oh,
I think he had told me he was going to start training
Did
over
he?
there.
I know. Sage went with
Sage is
Alpha
over
Male,
there,
yeah.
which was a good fit for him because he needs the grappling.
yeah.
I don't know if
He
they
seems like such a weird dude.
he's an interesting individual for sure.
Yeah.
He's a
He
nice,
lost
very
his
nice
last
kid.
fight, but they gave it to him.
Yeah, that fight was weird.
I didn't like the way the guy fought him.
I thought
we
the
talked
other guy
about
could
this,
have. Even the Sukum top fight was shown on my. He had that fight
It's
gift wrapped
over.
in the third round.
It's over.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, Rashad Evans lost his mind on the post-fight
Do you
show
think
over
he
that.
didn't?
And I know that kid. I'm like, bro,
Do you think he
you
just
need
didn't?
to be slapped. You're
Yeah.
gonna slap yourself. I don't even need to do it. You're gonna
That
do
fight
it.
would have been ended the way he was hopping on his foot. The
All he had
ref
to do
wouldn't
was
have let
stand it
that
up.
round go.
Do you
The
think
kid's
he
gonna keep
just didn't notice that O'Malley's foot
There's
was that
no
fucked
way
up?
you not notice that
The guy
guy
was
is doing
limping like a dead deer.
What is the Karate Kid?
Yeah.
One leg up.
He was
How do you
crane
not see
kicking
that?
around the
So then
octagon.
what do you think's going through his head at that point? Why not stand up?
I know he was thinking I got to finish the fight
yeah.
for sure. He's thinking that, but
Or Dana White's in the corner screaming, "That's my star!
Don't do it.
Yeah,
Don't
he's
do
my new
it.
star since Connor's gone."
no, don't do it.
He needs another Irish dude to fill in for Connor.
Oh man, man, it's crazy. But that's my my thinking right now. That's my timetable. So I'm hoping make my title run and win a world title, set myself up for the future, and find some other endeavors, man.
That's awesome.
Fighting is not forever, and it's an unforgiving sport, and I just don't want to be resentful to the sport that I love by sticking around too long, man. I see a lot of guys do that, and they get sour grapes about it because the UFC brass starts treating them differently, and
Yeah.
like I don't want to be that guy.
So you're telling me you don't want to end up a heavyweight in the Bellator Grand Prix
I
tournament?
don't want to be a heavyweight in the Bellator Grand Prix tournament.
You're telling me you don't want to fight Roy Nelson or Matt Mitrione
Yeah, it's so
or Rampage for that matter.
I want to make sure this sport is good to me.
But you do
And,
seem to be very you like the people who are fans of yours because you do those vlogs on YouTube, right?
Yeah. I got to put one out tonight for tomorrow. I gotta get the editing on that.
So you really do care about the people who follow you, which is
yeah,
important. I don't think
100%.
not enough people do that because
I
it's
get
so
a lot
important
of-
the people who back you up.
I get like a lot of fans that will DM me, ask me about like weight loss tips and dieting and what to do
That's
to
great,
keep me
man.
motivated.
Yeah.
And I want to start MMA. How should I start? Any advice for a young up and coming fighter? But it's so overwhelming. I'm like, Jesus, man, I can't answer all these questions for everybody. It's like, it's,
yeah,
so
we
I
have a
feel
different
bad.
life because mine is usually gay fans of mine going, "Can I touch your dick?" And I was like, "Nah."
Have you
That's all I get. I get a concerning amount.
have you considered being a commentator? Because you clearly
I would like to.
Yeah.
I've done it before for Cage Fury.
All right.
My brother's actually he's having his second pro fight for Cage Fury in 2 weeks
shit.
at the Brigada.
How
March
old's your brother?
24th. He's 26. My
That's
other
awesome.
brother's making his amateur debut this weekend. We found him a short notice fight. He was supposed to fight March 29th on his birthday, and that fight fell through. So now he's going to be fighting in PA.
That's
We're making a road
family
trip.
of fighters. How
Yeah,
many
that's
are those
great.
are your brothers?
Yeah. So I'm a family of 20. There's 20 siblings. 20 of us. So I got 19 siblings. There's 6
You
boys.
have 19 siblings?
Yeah, 6 guys. I tried to get all the guys to fight. It didn't really work out that way.
Oh my
But it
God.
would have been sick.
siblings.
I'm like, bro, we could have a TV show if we all fought. Like, you
That's
know
fucking crazy.
how insane that would be?
20. I don't think I've ever heard that many. 20 siblings.
20.
I've
there's
only
20
seen
of
that
us,
on
yeah.
That's
TV.
insane.
We deserve. Let me not say we deserve, but it would be pretty good TV with my family's
Yeah, man.
some characters. I'm like the normal one out of everybody, so that's just to give an idea. And I'm a little wacky
We'll put in the
How
myself.
call
old is
to
the youngest
Hollywood.
one?
They're twins. 11. I think they just turned 11.
Dude, you got time.
Yeah.
You got time, man.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you start commentating and getting in front of the camera and stuff like that, getting your face on screen, man, you could get some TV shit going.
Yeah, I want
That's
to.
why
I think it'll be
that's
fun.
great.
These vlogs are good. You're good on camera.
Thank
Which
you.
A lot
You
of
know,
people are super awkward on camera.
I've been getting pretty good feedback. A lot of people have been liking the stuff that we like the
That's
training
great.
stuff, putting it out, and
It's
so
so
far,
cool to hear when someone also has other stuff outside of the business, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we all do what we do for a living, but there's also other projects not only are important for your career, but also just to fucking stay sane.
Yeah.
I mean, because when you go home and you're like, you know what, I could do this video and talk to somebody, that helps you stay sane.
Yeah.
So now,
Otherwise, thinking fighting all day,
yeah, no, you go
nonstop.
crazy. It's the same thing with comedy. You go nuts.
Yeah, sometimes I don't sleep because I keep thinking about the
I
fight.
wake up
Totally.
It's
regularly
insane.
at 5 a.m. just to write and then go back to bed because I
Yeah.
can't get a joke out of my head.
Yeah.
It's an absurd life, but at the same time, it's like we wouldn't have it any other way because
Yeah.
you're so far
Yeah.
into it. It's like, what do I do else? You know?
It becomes you.
Yeah.
It becomes your identity.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm trying to avoid. I want to make sure I have some other stuff going for me.
All right, so but because you have that definite ending, you know what time you want to end at, you know what age you want to end at, you know I got 3.5, maybe 4 years left in this. I want to make a title run. Does that allow you right now to really lock into the craft and be like, I have X amount of time, I want to get this done in that amount of time, and just like really just set your feet in the ground and lock into it?
Yeah, for sure. I've been paying to get some other stuff done. Like normally, I'm like a super cheap dude. I'm like let me not say cheap. I'm very frugal with my money because I know I can only fight. Like 2016 was a prime example. I fought one time that year, and then I had surgery, so I made like really no money, and I lost that fight. That was the Caraway fight. Tough time, man. And then to come back for my first year, the next year, 2017, lose my first fight of the year, which was to a Sun Sal. So I just got to be smart about stuff. But now I'm investing in myself. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
So right now I need a guy who can edit consistently. I had a guy, and then
You would need both.
it started giving me like it's starting to give me like a little bit of
Like
a
I
runaround.
told
I'm
you,
at to
my
break his
sound
balls
guy's
tonight.
Yeah.
my sound guy's in Italy. I found out recently.
Yeah, our sound guy was
It's rough,
Italy.
man. Like
Because you get an editing guy, and then you think they're gonna work for you, and then they're like, "How about you ask someone else?" And they ask someone else, like, "Yeah, we need $500." Like, whoa,
$500 to edit a 3-4 minute video is insane.
So
It's
many
insane.
people are
But, like,
charging so much money for this shit, but it's like at the same time you want it done right.
It's because they see there's a market for it, because they know how many people want to put content online and make
Yeah,
videos.
which
and
is
post
cool. I'm not knocking them, but what have you done to
Yeah, but you're not gonna
warrant
pay that. Fuck that.
Yeah,
I
what-
never understood until I sat down a few weeks ago because I was like, you know what, fuck him, I'll edit the podcast, and then I plugged it in the computer. And I was like, yeah, man, hey, how's it going? Can you come back? I couldn't do it. I took one look at the screen. I was like, I get why they asked for money.
Yeah.
This shit's confusing.
for the editing. You're talking
Oh, yeah, it's absurd. It's
for
a little...
like videos and stuff.
well, editing videos is a whole different animal. We used to do a video aspect.
Yeah,
But this is also hard because of the sound levels and shit. Because I'm always low and high, and he's low and high.
yeah, you gotta make sure everything.
Yeah,
is,
and I reached out to one guy, and this guy was like, I'll do each episode for $250. I was like, I'd make $0 for the podcast. I do this out of fun.
yeah.
I don't get that. It's a weird, too inside show business.
Yeah, whatever. Do
Yeah.
you?
That's basically for the people listening. If anyone wants to edit this for free, I will send you the files.
We're in need of an editor, and so is Aljamain. So hit us up.
I definitely need a full-time editor.
Well, if you actually do
Or
need
at
an
least
editor,
2.
we know enough people in comedy that could probably do it for
Yeah.
a pretty
Yeah.
reasonable price that are actually really good.
The one guy he was okay with $50, and I had another guy okay with $100. So I'm like, I'm gonna
Oh,
pay
we could
50
easily
to-
find you a good dude for $50 or $100.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. It takes me like 2 hours to do, not too long.
Yeah.
It's just after training, I'm like, I'm tired. I just want to eat and lay down right now.
Do you feel a lot of pressure to kind of build yourself as a personality online and have that help sell your fights because of the rise of guys like Connor, and even seeing a guy like O'Malley shoot up because of his online persona and his personality in the cage? And
Are you a
outside?
trash talker? I don't think you are, right?
No,
You
I
seem
don't
like
really.
a quiet confidence kind of guy.
Yeah, I don't really talk trash. I'm what Connor says. I'm a truth teller. I am a truth teller. I just tell it how it is.
One,
Whatever
two,
I see.
three.
Like I fought Johnny Eduardo, and I said, yeah, I feel like he's an old lion, and I'm the young lion coming up, and I'm ready to take the old lion out, and now
That's
I'm gonna
just
be
truth.
the guy in charge. And it's the truth. I'm not saying you're not a good fighter, but his record said he was like 37. I'm like, dude, you're an old dude. I'm a young bull.
Yeah.
You haven't done anything fighting any of these guys that scared me. I feel confident enough in my skill set and what you bring to the table, and we're just gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's all it comes down to. Like, for you to sit there and say for you to not say like you feel like you're better than somebody is like, why would you even sign the contract then?
Exactly.
I think I'm better than Brett Johns. He thinks he's better than me. I'm willing to say I'm better than you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna prove it.
And I love that because then at the end you guys hug and it's all fun.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like even at the worst beef, which that I've seen of late was John versus Daniel Cormier. That seemed like real beef, where like they said some fucked up shit about each other's families and whatnot. Then even at the end of the last fight when Cormier caught the kick, they hugged each other and they gave each other props. And Jon said he wished he could be the man Daniel was. And I was like, these guys legitimately hated each other, but still, the respect amongst fighters is always there.
Yeah, Jon knows what type of man DC is.
Yeah.
Because without Jon,
I
DC's
respect
the best
DC a
light
lot.
heavyweight.
Of course,
without
everybody
Jon.
does.
Big family guy, and you know
he's a good person.
And
Well,
even
I
if
talk
he
about
has
this
some
all
crazy
the time.
stuff,
I don't get why UFC fans hate him. He is such a cool dude.
I think it's because of where he grew up. I think the way he talks sometimes kind of comes off like he's like trying to sound a little different.
Yeah.
Which I understand.
I'm
Because
even talking from a
Yeah.
fighting perspective. He's a fun fighter.
It's because his persona
Might be a little cunty.
It comes off. It's not even cunty. It's just like it comes off as a little bit disingenuous sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes when he's talking trash, sometimes when he's trying to like big up, especially because when Jon's talking shit, Jon's a crazy motherfucker, and you could tell it's honest, even if he's wrong. You could tell that's really who he is.
I'm
He's
even
just
talking from
like
the
a crazy
commentating
dude.
standpoint.
Yeah.
Daniel's a great
Well,
commentator.
Daniel's a great commentator, but like, just as a fighter, when they're talking shit and stuff, with Jon, as crazy as he's being, sometimes as wrong as he's being, it seems natural. DC, sometimes it just doesn't seem like it's being natural. It seems like he's trying to get to Jon's level with the shit talking, but it doesn't come off
UFC
smoothly.
fans, MMA fans as a whole, they'll turn on a guy. You could watch two guys really have a great fight, but if it's not like a blow for blow, they're like, boo.
yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah.
Al's a perfect example. Al told the whole crowd to go fuck themselves.
I love that.
I
was in the crowd like,
yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah. Because it's like at the end of the day, it's like I still went in there and did my job. Who gives a fuck that you guys didn't see what you thought you should have saw? You
Yeah.
saw two guys actually fighting at a high level.
And Al went after it. Al was like busted and bleeding, and he was still pushing forward, pushing the pace, trying to win the fight. And you had the other guy coasting.
Yeah.
And in that instance, is like, how do you not give the fight to the guy who's a lot more active? I mean, I watched that fight over and over. It's still hard to score it, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah,
I'm not a
especially
judge.
now with the new rules. With the new rules, being the aggressor is so much more important than it was in past years.
Yeah.
where you do get lucked
Which
at
is
for
kind of
that.
silly to me. If you're being an aggressor and you're just swinging and you're missing, and the other guy's piecing you up, but if it's clear, but if you're
Yeah.
like landing stuff, then okay. But if you're like
if
not
you're getting your ass
landing-
beat and being the aggressor, who gives a fuck what
yeah,
you're doing?
I'm like,
you're
bro,
still
you're
losing.
getting boxed around the ring, and the guy's
Yeah.
using what we call ringmanship. So
Yeah.
I don't really count that for nothing. It depends on how the fight is actually playing out.
Is
Sure.
ringmanship like stage presence?
Yeah,
a
stage
little bit.
presence.
Yeah,
I'm
gotta
gonna
be
start
walking
I'm gonna
around.
start using that instead.
ringmanship.
Ring-
I'm gonna
Ringmanship.
say Aljamain has good
Sounds a
stage
little
presence
smoother.
and Dan has good ringmanship. While I'm on stage, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna fuck with
Yeah, I
everyone.
got ringmanship.
So, like you seem to have like the path where you want to go. So after Brett, you beat Brett. I mean, obviously the Marlon and Jimmy fight also is an influence of what happens for your next fight. But ideally, what would you do?
I hate that Jimmy's getting that fight.
Why?
Well, I hate that Marlon's getting it.
And
Marlon
I hate that
came in
Marlon's
so
getting that
quickly.
fight. I hate them both. How about that? If you guys are listening, Jimmy, Marlon, I hate both of you guys right now.
Why do you hate they're getting the fight? Because they're headlining, or because
Nah, I don't give a shit if they're headlining. I feel like had I beaten Marlon, that would have been I would have been either one away or I would have probably been the man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, or I mean, if you won, well, obviously would have been you
in terms of
versus
fame,
Jimmy.
it's a
Yeah.
popularity contest. I think I would have been the man. I legit do.
yeah.
Out of those three, I would say you have the best following.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Marlon has the least. Jimmy's has a solid fan base too.
Probably now.
And what
Yeah.
I've
He's got that cult.
yeah,
the,
but what I've
Tiger
seen
Showman
though,
cult.
Yeah.
Tiger Showman.
what I've seen though in the trash talk, but Jimmy doesn't do much. But between him and
His
Marlon,
wife does. His wife
Yeah,
does the
she
trash.
does. We met her. She was
Yeah.
tweeting at us and
She was
shit.
tweeting us
Yeah.
with questions to ask him.
Yeah.
Oh,
She-
Jack Jimmy.
So he and Marlon have bad blood because
Yeah, but
Jimmy's wife got
every
into it with
UFC
Marlon's
fan-
manager.
Yeah, she's like the dude in the relationship. She's like, bro, she does all the trash talking for him. I legit feel
That's
she might
fun.
be switching between accounts and going on his account or something and just talking shit.
That
for
could
him.
also just be a
Garbrandt's
guy
real-
being like, "I don't care what you fuck, take it, do what you want."
Garbrandt's
Yeah.
girlfriend was doing that shit too. Remember with Dom?
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
that got shut down real quick.
Yeah.
So
Dom fucking made it look silly.
Well, any wife who talks, don't worry, Colby Covington's coming for them.
yeah. Oh, Jesus, that shit was nuts.
He talks shit about everyone's wife.
yeah, he's that guy's
He
that guy's
doesn't-
a little.
he's not even good enough to be talking to schmack. He does.
I think he's a little over the line to be 100%
Yeah, well,
honest.
I think he's over the line on mostly everything.
Yeah.
Who did he?
I think you leave the girlfriends and the wives out of it. I can't really understand that.
That was
Yeah.
a
Like,
weird
I understand it's a
call-out,
fight game,
too.
but it's like, bro.
He called her a cunt. Whoever he called, I forgot who it was, but he called her a cunt.
Well, then he just called, what was it, Mike Perry's wife?
Horse-face ratchet girlfriend.
Horse-face ratchet girlfriend.
I was
yeah.
like, bro.
You might have got away with ratchet. And a horse face.
Horse-face is
That's a tough
fucking-
description.
Yeah.
I remember I was watching a porn one time, and they described the girl as horse face. I was like, that's too mean. She's got a nice body.
So 35 is crazy right now as a weight class.
Stacked, man. It's fun. It's
So
an exciting time right now.
With-
From what
Yeah.
we're hearing, though, is that Cruz is kind of on layaway now.
Yeah,
I hear
he's
he's
probably
not fighting
waiting.
much. I guess.
He broke his arm,
so-
and then
Yeah.
he's kind of just chilling out right now.
Out of all them, given if Cruz is healthy, which of those guys do you think would be your toughest competition? Like, which of them do you look at like he's the guy that's going to give you the most shit?
I think the best guy in the division right now is TJ Dillashaw.
Hell yeah.
I think and that's just being 100% honest and calling it how it is. I think TJ is the most rounded skill set. Cody has some flaws. I think Cody's flaws are he relies so heavily on his powers, and he's a counter fighter. If you don't step into him while he's stepping back so that he could counter and just bomb on you, then that fight's different. If you utilize your feints and you get that guy to throw,
Yeah.
you can start to pick him, like you can start to counter a little bit better. I think with the Cruz fight, Cruz was so emotionally invested in that fight.
That was one of the
compared
few
to-
times Cruz was so emotional.
Yeah, he's never been like that.
He-
and I
yeah.
think if they
He was-
fought again, it'd be different.
And
You think so?
he used to be invested
really
a
do
little in
think so.
Uriah, but he always knew he was better than Uriah.
I think he could still get cracked,
Yeah.
but I think with him using his feints and actually getting Cody to throw and get him to bite a little bit more, I think that would get him to open up where he can find his openings.
So
He did clip Cody one time, and you could see Cody's eyes actually roll in the back of his
Yeah.
head.
I think Cody
You
lost.
Nobody points that out, and I've been calling him like,
that Dom clipped him.
yeah, Dom clipped him, and Cody's eyes like kind of
Yeah.
went to the back of his head for a split second, and I was like, bro, he is chinny. I'm telling you, anybody that touches that chin, he's going down. It's just he's getting away with it because he's landing first.
So do you think Dillashaw made big mistakes then? Because you think TJ's the best in the division, but he came so close to losing that fight.
Yeah, well,
I think he's pretty much out on his feet, like stumbling around after that
he
round.
went after it at the end of that round. I think he was just frustrated because Cody stays disciplined. He sits there in his stance and he's retreating, he's backing up, and he's just waiting for you to throw so you
Yeah.
can counter.
Yeah.
And then and TJ knows that. They've
Yeah.
trained together, and the same punch he caught him with in sparring was the same punch he actually landed in the fight
Yeah.
and put him down.
'Cause
That's like
their
McGregor
sparring
with the Aldo
sessions
thing.
were something
Yeah.
of legend
Anyway,
leading
shadow
into the
boxing,
fight.
Yeah,
Oh.
these-
Their sparring sessions were talked about so much leading into that fight.
Yeah.
I also think we talked about that in this last episode. I think Edgar should drop down to bantamweight.
If Edgar's coming down, I wouldn't mind being the guy to.
That would be a good New
That
York
would be a
fight.
big fight. I
Yeah.
think that
That'd
would
be
be
great, man.
I like the big fights, man. It's nothing against Frankie. I like the big fights. That's all.
Long
That's all it
Island,
is.
Jersey,
And also,
little-
he's exerted himself in that division. He did what he could up there.
Yeah.
I think
No, there's some
if he does want to
big
keep
guys.
going, I think he should come. He should give 135 a chance. I think he adds. I mean, the division already so good. Throw him in
it'd
there.
be
Ryan looks
so stacked.
so much bigger than him.
Yeah. No,
And
Frankie's like my
Frankie-
height. He's
yeah.
like my height. He's my size.
I mean, Brian's like towering over him, so much longer than him.
He's a good wrestler though. His
Yeah,
takedowns are so
yeah.
good.
Brian Ortega is going to be the future champion of
I
that
think so,
division.
too.
You think so? You think?
I think so.
Holloway's really good. I think. But
I love Holloway, but my thing with I said on the last episode that I gave the reason I picked Dillashaw over Garbrandt was experience, and that's what I picked Frankie for over Ortega.
Yeah.
But he proved that wrong. So Ortega versus Holloway, I can't even give him the experience factor. Of course, Ortega's well-rounded. I mean, the punch he caught Frankie with was a real solid punch that we hadn't seen much from of Ortega.
and the elbow too, step in
Yeah.
elbow, which
Yeah.
was pretty nasty.
yeah, to
Crazy.
lead in with the step and elbow and then hit him with that uppercut is a beautiful little fury of punches there.
Yeah, just breaking down that fight, I think even like the Holloway fight versus Jose Aldo, the first two fights that Holloway had, I think Aldo won those first two rounds, and then you could start to see that Holloway was just like, you know what, I'm about to just bite down my mouthpiece and prove that I
Yeah.
can actually eat the shots and you can't because
Yeah.
Father Time has caught up to you.
Yeah.
And you see that when he just sits in the pocket and he trades with him. Aldo's landing good shots, but Max is able to wear it better, and
Yeah.
Aldo couldn't. He got cracked that one time, and then he had to start retreating, and that was the
Totally.
beginning.
Even
of the
Aldo
end.
McGregor
And
Max is so
both
good in a
fights.
brawl scenario. When Max starts, when the hands get thrown, Max is amazing. in
Yeah,
that setup.
yeah. He's good at. I don't know what it is, but he's accurate in there.
He's got that champion's polish, man. He's just kind of, you could just tell he's so sure of
He's
himself.
good, man. We rolled a little bit in Hawaii. He's good grappler.
Yeah.
And then I've trained with Ortega a little bit. I didn't actually like grapple with him, but we trained cutting weight together because we fought on the same card together twice.
Yeah.
In California, and we train cut weight together. And
Good dude.
he's a good dude, man. And, I think he made huge improvements from that Hanato fight. Every single fight he's gotten better. That's what makes it such an interesting fight.
He's also a young dude. I mean, he's like what? He's 24.
I think 24 or 20. Oh, he's 27. Ortega?
He's 24.
He's 20.
Oh.
I thought he was like
It could be
25.
27. Who knows?
Yeah, young.
That makes me feel better because then he's still 4 years older than me. So. Yeah, I think even like the Aldo McGregor fight, I thought that was a fluke. I mean, people were giving him so much credit. I was like, that was kind of a fluke, you know?
I think if they fought again.
It's blasphemy to say. I think it would be a better fight if they fought again.
I think McGregor would win it a second time.
I still think McGregor wins.
Honestly, I think what
Taller.
McGregor has done has been so interesting because I think it's all a marketing ploy on his part to step away from the game for this long and then build up the suspense for him coming back again.
That
and
too.
also, he's a guy who also doesn't really want to
You know
fight.
what's weird
But-
is like the super casual fans, he's like, for a lot of super casual fans, McGregor is one of like 2 or 3 names that they even know. In
He
MMA.
brought a lot of people into
But
the sport.
For the diehard fans, I think a lot of them almost underrate his talent. The super diehard MMA fans, I think a lot, because we're so used to seeing him all the time, you kind of get sick of it. It gets played out or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, that guy's extremely talented.
I thought he was overrated until he fought Poirier. I thought he was all hype until he fought Poirier, and then I realized this guy's actually the real deal.
Yeah.
His head
There's
clatters off the canvas.
Yeah, because
I hit that soft spot right above the ear, right
Yeah.
behind the ear, the temple, that soft spot. Once you get hit there, no man can take that shot.
Perfect punch right behind the ear.
I mean, he had the balls. He still posts videos of him and his kid, just him holding his head, going, "Fuck the McGregors, fuck the Mayweathers."
Yeah,
He still posts the videos.
He's
Yeah,
funny.
man. I mean, and then he proved it so many times. Like the Poirier fight, he proved it, and then obviously there were more after that, and then the Mendes fight, and then obviously the Aldo fight was crazy. But then again, with
Max gave him his toughest fight, and
Yeah,
he
he
was
really did.
still a young boy at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, Max went to decision with him.
Yeah.
He lost unanimous, but he
interesting
still went to
'cause
decision, man.
it's
And Max
weird,
was
though.
young.
And Max couldn't really grapple back then. That's when he lost to Bermudez.
That was before Max went on that crazy run.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, it must give Dana White like heart palpitations that he's not fighting right now. Because I mean, the UFC. I mean,
They need some big fights.
it's easy. I
They
don't
need the
want to
big
say,
ones.
but there's not a lot of guys who are at the level of promotion that McGregor was.
Yeah.
But
I
also,
mean, that actually transitioned to fight Mayweather.
Because you got to be able
And
to
he-
talk. It's one thing to talk, and it's another thing to deliver in the fight. And they got the O'Malley kid who could possibly be the next guy to do that. But
Yeah.
if he doesn't clean up those glaring holes, he's going to run it. Eventually, they're going to throw him to
Exactly.
somebody, and then he's going to run into a
And
brick
it's
wall.
hard to
McGregor's-
find someone who puts both together.
His-
Sometimes people don't want to talk that talk; they just
You know
want to
what
walk
is,
it.
They just
that
wanna fight,
McGregor,
yeah.
not only does McGregor talk and back it up, but it's also his style lends itself so much to a shit talker because the way he fights, he wins by one punch knockout. He's a counter puncher who drops that left in and knocks guys out. He's
Unless you're
not,
Diaz.
He's not a submission expert, which would be, he's great if you're a submission expert, but the fact that when he beats someone, he ends them with a first round knockout a lot of the times, that just builds the hype in the eyes of the fans.
Yeah, for sure. Because he's calling it. And whether or not it's luck,
He's putting you
but he's
out.
getting it. He's getting it, and that's
you
where
out.
the hype comes from. But I think for McGregor being away, my thing is the way I'm rationalizing this thing is why would he want to fight Tony and fight Khabib? Why not let them fight each other?
Exactly.
Take
Why,
one
I
of
don't know
them
why
out and
anyone
just fight
I don't
one
know
of
why
them.
anyone want to fight Khabib. He
Yeah.
doesn't look like a
Fuck
fun
that.
time.
Not at all.
That looks like the type
You
of
think
guy
he's
that
gonna
you
be-
fight and your training camp. You're like, I don't really know what to do in this one.
Yeah.
This guy's a monster.
Who do you think's taking that one?
I don't know. I've heard rumors that Tony's planning on let him take him down and try and just fight him off of his back, slice him up with elbows. I'm like, dude, if that's your game plan,
You're gonna lose,
yeah,
dude.
because he's not gonna sit in your
fuck?
guard.
Yeah.
he's gonna posture up and he's
You
gonna drop.
think Khabib
Yeah.
is just gonna sit there and take your
Not
blows
at
to
all.
the ground?
Not
Right
at all.
now, the best Khabib game plan is just you have a solid weight cut and you hope he doesn't.
Yeah.
because he's done that a lot of times.
He's got a diet nutritionist now, so
Yeah, he does.
supposedly he's got it down now. We'll see
That'll
what.
be fun. That's
this is like the third
223,
time,
right? With Joanna Rose.
Yeah, that's the third time they booked this fight.
That's in Brooklyn.
That's in less than 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's where Al's fighting.
Yeah.
yeah. Who do you think? You think Rose wins again? I think Rose wins.
You know what's so crazy? I did not see that fight going like that. I thought her only way was winning, taking the fight down, and playing the long game.
We've
say it all the
mentioned it on the
time.
podcast before. But
I placed a large sum of money on her because I
On
was,
Rose?
and that's why we
I
have this
talked to
equipment.
a few journalists who had seen her fight camp, and I liked what I was hearing, and I thought she was the only one who was ever going to give Joanna a tough time. And the Vegas had her at I think plus 325, so I put 600 down on her or whatever, and that's how we have all this equipment.
You made some pretty, you made
Yeah.
a
Good
pretty
job.
coin right there.
I also parlayed in Dillish over Garbrandt because I knew Garbrandt was going to beat him that night. And lucky bets. I could say that now with confidence. Back then, I thought I was going to lose $600.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you made some good coin. Sick.
So, yeah, I think we could wrap it up
Wrap it up,
soon.
man.
So, next fight against... So, Brett, you beat him. After that,
That's on
probably...
April 23rd.
I'm looking to fight hopefully in June, so I want to get through this one. I want to hopefully get 4 fights in this year again. Stay busy and stay active. And like I said, I got a short window of opportunity, and I just want to capitalize it. So I just want to make sure I'm giving myself every single opportunity I can. And
yeah, for sure.
we're dream chasing over here. So
For sure, man. You want to plug your social media?
yeah, you guys can follow me at Funkmaster_UFC on the Instagram or the Twitter. I'm a big tweeter, especially during fight nights. I like to engage with fans. And you can check out my website, aljamainsterling.com, or my YouTube channel if you want to check out my vlogs. Stay in tune. The UFC Redemption Series on the way to Atlantic City, leading all the way up to the fight. So we got some good
Atlantic
content
City.
for you guys.
And I am Luke Touma. You can follow me on Twitter at Luke Touma, LUKETOUMA, on Instagram at Luke.Touma, LUKE.TOUMA. Dan, you want to give your plugs?
I am at Dan LaMorte. If you listen to this and you're in Chicago, I'm headlining Zanies May 22nd to 27th. And also September, just announced about 25 city tour. Yeah,
Hey.
I'm going to hate myself at the end of that. But yeah, look out for that. Mostly
Dan's
the
going back
South
on
and
the road.
Midwest. I'm going back on the road. Work this new hour before I tape it. Thanks to Middle Easy. Thanks, Aljamain. A really
Thank
fun
you, man.
time
It's been
sitting down
great,
with you.
man.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for coming.
Yes, for sure.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Good night, fisters.